Hello everybody, this is my Leadership 602 Servant Leadership Impact Plan, and for this presentation I'll be taking a look at the Lakeshore Chinooks baseball team and how they can improve their communication throughout their organization. Brief introduction, for those who don't know who the Lakeshore Chinooks are, the baseball team in Grafton, Wisconsin. They're a summer collegiate baseball team, so you get guys from all around the country to come play for about 3 months, some summer baseball to kind of keep them going in the swing of things. A lot of these guys will get a chance to get drafted and play minor league baseball, and some will get a chance to play in the big leagues as well. So it's kind of a small organization. Has about 10 to 12 full-time staff, and each summer they employ approximately 30 to 40 interns as well, along with high school staff, younger staff to do other tasks as well. I personally have spent the past 3 summers with the team doing different things. My first summer 3 years ago was in the marketing and operations department as an intern. The second year with the team was a journalism intern, and this past summer and currently I work in the ticket sales department, and I'm also the merchandise manager for the team as well. So I've had a lot of chances in the past 3 years to kind of interact with many members of the front office. I've worked alongside a lot of them, seen some changes throughout the organization and how they've kind of adapted and changed over the time. So that's kind of what I'll be taking a look at here. And a big thing that I noticed, communication is such a huge aspect of running an organization like the Chinooks. Communication in sports is huge, especially working behind the scenes and trying to make sure everyone stays on top of everything. Everyone understands the tasks, the roles they have to play. So communication is huge to finding any success within this industry. Lapses in their communication skills, whether this is between front office staff in the different departments such as ticket sales, marketing, or even the higher ups such as like the assistant general manager or the team president. Occasionally they're not always on the same page. They don't always know what is happening and how to solve the problem quickly and accurately, because they don't always communicate with each other what's all happening. At the same time, this lack of communication can also affect the intern staff, as they don't always understand the role they have to play and how to either help potential customers, consumers at the ballpark, and they don't always know what the front office is looking for them to accomplish, which can lead to problems. At the same time, this also affects the consumer, because if they don't know what is expected, or if they don't understand something, they will have questions, they'll have concerns that they'll bring to members of the staff. So you've got to find a way. The organization does not always do the best job of communicating, not only with their own people inside their office and the staff, but also with the people outside that they're trying to bring to the ballpark, which is very, very key to an organization, obviously, to making a profit, making money, is to make sure you can bring people to the ballpark. And if you don't communicate well enough with them, that can lead to poor attendance and things like that. So like I kind of mentioned, interdepartmental communication and the sharing of information is lacking in some areas. It's not always very successful when they do try to communicate, as some people know what something as other people don't know. It's not always everyone's on the same page, I guess. And finding a way to bridge that is very important. It's like I said, you got to find a way to avoid confusion and make sure everyone has the same information, has all the information if possible, in order to best help people outside the organization. Because if you can improve the front office communication, that will trickle down and can lead to more communication among the intern staff and those who aren't there every day. But if the people that are there in the office all the time and at the games all the time, such as like the general manager, ticket sales staff, marketing staff, people that are at the ballpark all the time, the ones that are supposed to know all the information, they need to make sure that they are all on the same page together. This can be done through meetings, like a weekly meeting or something like that, with each department, and that they all come together, they keep track of what's happening, in order to communicate better through these meetings, sharing like ticket package prices and what comes with certain ticket packages, or what promotions are happening that night, so that everyone knows what's happening in order to create the best product possible. And then if this is successful and they can improve these communications, it will create more of a connection between the consumers and the organization, and kind of bring them together and help the organization become more successful in the long run. The big ones is the large number of people within the organization. The organization currently employs about 12 full-time front office, and then they have, like I said, approximately 40 interns. So there's a large number, and especially with the constant turnover each season among the intern staff, and since it's basically a new group every year, it creates a lot of a turnover and a lot of change within the organization. That takes time to build that trust, to build relationships up again, so that the organization can run their operations smoothly. So being able to communicate within different members or throughout the entire staff is very key to success. So finding a way to communicate with both the intern staff, with the front office, and bring those two together in order to effectively share information is very important. As I mentioned, the sharing information within the front office hasn't always great. Part of that is due to the fact that there's many different departments, ticket sales, like marketing, media. Since there's not many people within the organization or in the front office that are working all the time, everyone has their own tasks, so they're all kind of trying to do multiple things at once. It's trying to be very fluid, but at the same time, they don't always come together and share information effectively. Being able to come together at times and help each other out more can be very important to establishing trust, building communication skills as people trust each other more, to be more willing to share, and it can help bring the organization together more as a whole in order to share not only with the front office, but that can help lead down to the intern staff as well. Another potential challenge I think is kind of overlooked sometimes is the challenge of embracing the idea of change. It can be tough sometimes for people to sit down and say, hey, we're going to make this change, and not everyone always hops on board right away. So being able to bring everybody together and say, this is what we're going to do, and get them to buy in to that change and realize that, yes, this is the best way or best direction for the organization to go. It's not always easy, but it's something that if it can be done will really help the process as a whole. Being able to drastically improve interdepartmental communication is huge to the success of improving the communication. An idea that I kind of had was bringing in a communication lead. It doesn't have to be an entirely new position, but designating somebody within the front office as a communication lead, so that they're the ones that have access to all the information, have access to what everyone else is doing, so that if people have questions, they can go to that communication lead to be able to find out what they're looking for and what their goals are, and how to kind of best interact with each department in order to be successful in the long run, and understand what other departments are doing to keep everyone together. Another thing we've talked about is a departmental meeting. So they currently do this in a way where I think it's once a week. It doesn't happen as much during the season, which I think is what needs to be changed. But once a week, the front office all sits down, and the goal of the meeting would be to share what they're all doing that week, or what they did the prior week, in order to make sure everyone is understanding what is going on, what is coming up, so that they can all maintain and understand all the information, keep sharing updates and all that, in order to keep everyone on the same page to help the team. So if establishing the initial interdepartmental communication, then you can start working down and focusing on keeping the intern staff and the other day of game staff in the know as well. And currently, the organization has a post-game meeting at the end of each night that is supposed to kind of talk about the day and the next day and all that. But that's probably not always, at least in my opinion, from being in those meetings for the last couple of years, The people there, it's like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. For some of the front office employees, they've been working since 8 a.m. that morning. So it's been a long day, so not a lot of them are very focused on the meeting. They're not always engaged. So instead of having it following the game, you can still have one following the game, discuss what's happening the next day, and keep everyone kind of up to date. But I believe having a meeting prior to the game as well to discuss what is happening on that day, to keep everything fresh in everybody's mind, so that they can walk in. So that when they walk in, they have that meeting, and everyone knows what's going to be happening that in the next following 6 hours or whatever, so that they know that day. Instead of trying to remember what happened, like trying to remember back what they were talking about the night before, when not everybody is in the focus mindset after having worked for a long day and all that. So having a meeting prior to share and kind of keep everybody on the same topic, on the same page, and understanding everything is very important. And another idea is kind of a group messaging system. They do kind of try this now. They send emails and all that. But a way, maybe a messaging app or like a text message group or something that could be more two-way, because in my opinion, email, a lot of times people will read it and then it's kind of that's that. Or if you just reply, you reply to one person. But maybe a messaging chat that can keep everybody together, and so that they can send feedback, two-way street kind of, in order to bounce ideas off each other and quickly share information. Could be beneficial in the organization as well. So yeah, that was my servant leadership plan. Definitely focused on improving communication within the Lakeshore Chinooks baseball team. Right now, there are efforts to improve the communication within the organization, but some of these ideas are ways that I think they could take the next step to continue to improve and compete with other big marketer teams within the Milwaukee area. Thank you.